Welcome to BigDaddie Sports. I'm your host, Big Daddy.
LB Jenkins.
We're back with you once again talking about the hot topics in sports. Let's jump right in it. What do you do to fix the mess with the Jets?
Rex Ryan went into there as a coach. He saw, I got this. He's a great defensive coach. Went in, and I think over the past 3 years, what has happened is he has kind of lost it, the kind of formula. I think as a player, you know, your game changes, you got to evolve. I think he has to evolve as a coach. I think he needs to go down and actually do some brain work here to see what he has. As far as Mark Sanchez, he's not a franchise quarterback. I think you have to get a new quarterback in there. You have to get some key, because I think it was very arrogant to go into the season without the defensive ends, without the right personnel, to be like, oh, you're going to still have a dominant defense and guarantee a Super Bowl victory, when you don't have the right personnel in order to do that.
There we go. Let's start here. This idea of a franchise quarterback for most franchises is flat out a myth. There's Brady, there's Manning, there's Breeze, there's Rodgers. Other than that, there aren't guys in this league that you can go out and just say the defense is horrible, you don't have receivers, but make something happen. Those guys don't go on sheets.
So franchise goes with elite, is what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Franchise goes with elite.
Absolutely.
Not great running game, great defense.
No.
Serviceable quarterback.
No. Franchise quarterbacks are the guys when everything's falling. Franchise quarterback is Tom Brady. They were down 21-0, 2 weeks in a row, and he finds a way to outplay his horrible defense and to win games going away. He doesn't just come back, but he blows teams out.
Okay, look at this from a GM's perspective. You got Peyton Manning, you got your Tom Brady. Now, Matt Castle came in and replaced Tom Brady, and they did good. But most of the time, if you put all this and you want this elite quarterback, most of the team is garbage. So without this elite quarterback, the rest of the team can't perform. So if this is the case, then you're saying if you don't have the elite quarterback, if you have an elite quarterback, if you have the franchise guy, the rest of your team is going to suffer as far as personnel-wise.
That's not what I'm saying. Because that's not the case in Green Bay, where they have the best receiving core in football.
No,
it's not the case in New Orleans, where they have one of the best running games in the National Football League. I believe they're sixth, and I believe they have a great wide receiving core, and the defense is okay. The fact of the matter is this. Mark Sanchez is not a franchise quarterback, but guess what? There are 28 other guys starting that aren't franchise quarterbacks. That's not the number one problem in New York. The number one problem in New York is that they were built on defense, and this year they didn't really stop people. It's flat out. People are like, oh, Reeves Island is... No. Reeves Island didn't have the help. They don't have pass rushers. And when they blitz, they struggle getting pressure. That's their number one thing this offseason. They get pressure, they're good. 2, they need a new offensive coordinator. No disrespect to Brian Schottenheimer or nothing like that, but they need a new voice. They need to go a different way. And then thirdly, who's the leader on the Jets? The team has no leaders. When Rex first got there, he brought in Bart Scott. He was feeding them lines, telling them you need to say this to lead the team. You need to do this action to lead the team. You don't do that with natural leaders. This team has no leaders on offense or defense. If you're going to win championships, you need leaders. Those are the Jets' issues. I do think Rex has to tone his act back some, but that's just Rex. It's not like he's faking for the cameras. That's just Rex. So we'll see how it goes. But the idea that the problem is Mark Sanchez because he's not a franchise quarterback, join the club. There aren't many of those guys. Next up, what do you do to fix Dallas?
You need a coach that's going to be assertive and actually have confidence in your quarterback. One part of Dallas as well is y'all getting old, especially on defense. Newman, Ware, all these guys are getting old, and you signing them in extensions. The defense ain't going to help you. So then, Tony Romo, who isn't Tom Brady, who isn't Peyton Manning, who isn't Drew Brees, isn't getting it done. So you need a franchise quarterback then?
I'm gonna start this off. It ain't Romo's fault. I'm gonna flat tell you. It's not, bro. When your offense is scoring 30 points a game, it's not the quarterback's fault. This comes out of plain and simple. It's not quarterback. It's not even coaching. If you watch the Giants game Sunday, how many times did Rob Ryan put that defense in position to make plays and they just couldn't make the play? So it's a talent issue.
Okay, so
front seven, okay, not great. Of course, you got DeMarcus Ware, you got Spears, you got the nose tackle. But linebacker wise, DB wise, no. And that's on Jerry Jones because he's the GM.
Well, he said, I'm not stepping down.
I don't care. Find somebody to help you. But this is personnel. Terrence Newman is past his prime, and at this point, he's probably a nickel corner. He's your number one guy. Jenkins is okay, But you need a shutdown guy, and that's what you need. Then you sign Sensabaugh to an extension, failed. Sensabaugh is a below average safety, and their whole secondary has a problem playing the ball in the air. You don't believe me? Go back and look at both Giants games. Go back and look at Megatron in between 3 Cowboys defenders, and they can't just knock the ball down, let alone intercept the football. They don't play the ball well in the air. These are things that you have to go get the talent to do, and I think Jerry will. The one thing Jerry is decent at, he has an eye for talent. Just look at their receiving core. He makes them some mistakes, but Miles Austin is a guy you've never heard of, and he found him. Robinson is a guy other teams were cutting. He brought him in. He made something out of it. He finds these types of guys. DeMarco Murray out of Oklahoma, nobody knew he was going to be that. Jerry drafted him. So Jerry gets some credit, but then he misses, and he's been missing lately on defense, and he's been costing himself. The Roy Williams deal that he brought in, Roy Williams didn't pan out. That cost him a first-round pick to Detroit. So that sets you back some when you make deals like that. But he's not horrible as people would lead you to believe.
Okay. When it comes down, Jerry ain't going to take the fall for this. Is it coach or is it quarterback? We don't want them usually come back.
Okay, here's the thing.
Is it coach or is it quarterback?
Here's the thing. If he fixes the secondary and then Romo doesn't show up, then it's the quarterback. If he fixes the secondary and then it's still a problem, it's the coach. Honestly, Romo had his best year. He had Romo had his best year. He played with broken ribs and a punctured lung. And then you can argue their games they don't win without Romo. The 2 Washington games, he brings them back. The San Fran game, he drives them back. So, did they have opportunities to win the division? Yeah, after Thanksgiving, after they came back versus Miami and escaped that game, you thought it's in their hand. And they choked it away, but it's not on Romo. Romo's not the problem in Dallas. Next up, Indianapolis Colts. You're on the clock, and you have one of 2 decisions to make. You either cut Peyton Manning and take Andrew Luck, or you keep Peyton Manning and trade the pick. What do you do if you're the Indianapolis Colts?
We'll definitely catch 22.
This is the best catch 22 I've ever seen.
But, all right, Andrew Luck, best prospect, quarterback, NFL ready quarterback right now. He comes in, let's say he doesn't, of course, match up to Peyton Manning, doesn't have the experience. And then you do have a losing season. That's a problem. But then let's say Peyton Manning comes back and he's not healthy. And you just pay this man you're gonna pay this man $28 million a year. It is a tough choice. I say Peyton Manning, if he's gonna be your franchise guy, he needs help, trade the pick. Get him help. So as he does dwindle, because as you age, you dwindle, your talent's gonna dwindle. Get him help where he can still be a great quarterback, but have a great running game, have some more great receivers. I don't know if Reggie Wayne's gonna stay if Peyton doesn't stay.
All that's irrelevant. Look, we're starting over, and it's okay to start over sometimes. It's okay to start over. So here's the thing. My issue with keeping Peyton is not so much about Peyton. It's about the injury. Now, it's not the same position, but I remember when Priest Holmes went out and Priest Holmes hurt his neck, and they said he was healthy, and he came back halfway through the season. He played 1 game, didn't even take a direct hit to his neck, and he was gone. Career over. Peyton Manning's gonna come back. They're gonna say he's healthy, and if he gets blindsided
one set,
you don't know. And so when you have that kind of factor in it, to me, you have to go with nothing is a sure thing, but everybody's saying that Andrew Luck's the guy. But here's the caveat to that: you can't trade Peyton. Because you got to pay him $28 million, and then he's going to hit your cap number if you try to trade him. So then you can release him. The problem with releasing Peyton Manning is he can come back to haunt you in your own division. Or in the AFC. Because you didn't tell me if Peyton Manning becomes available, the New York Jets are like, come to the Big Apple. The Miami Dolphins aren't saying, hey, come down to South Beach, bring your talents down here. So they can't control where he goes, and I know that scares the team. If you don't think so, just look at Denver and how Kyle Orton almost kept them out of the playoffs. So it's dicey, but I think you got to go and you got to start over. It sucks sometimes. Green Bay had to start over with Aaron Rodgers. They had to push Favre out. Favre didn't know what he wanted to do. San Fran started over with Steve Young, and it's not well received, but it works out. Joe Montana went to Kansas City, played well. Steve Young went through some learning curve things. Could they have won more championships with Joe? Joe, absolutely. But eventually they got to a Super Bowl, and in the long term, it was better for the longevity of the San Francisco 49ers. I think this decision is better for the longevity of the Indianapolis Colts. Next up, big games this weekend. Of course, all playoff games are big, so let's jump right in, and we're going to your boy Tebow, who I told you was going to see Pittsburgh, and I told you Harrison and Timmons and Polamalu were coming. What's your boy going to do?
I look at the whole team. I look at Pittsburgh, who is a zone blitzing. They do great against the pass.
Well, time out.
Denver ain't passing the ball.
Time out. So everything you think you know about the Steelers out the window.
Yeah.
They're going to look at that Kansas City film and say, this is what he can be. Dick LeBeau's a smart man. They're going to man cover him with one safety over the top and dare Tebow to beat him. And guess what? He hasn't proven that he can consistently.
I agree. I agree with you. And the thing is, he's going to have to go in this game. He's going to have to play. He's going to have to throw the ball. It can't just be the rushing. It just can't be the option. They're going to be looking for that.
Run that option. I want you to. And I'm going to introduce you to this man by the name of James Harrison. Ask Colt McCoy what happens when you run on James Harrison. You get concussed and he ends your season.
I agree. Tim Tebow, bigger guy. But yeah, that's still James Harrison. Denver has to come in here. And this honestly is going to be on Tebow, but it's actually going to be on coaching staff. You have to go in there and be like...
Coaches don't throw passes.
I agree.
Coaches don't catch them either.
Okay, but guess what? Bill Belichick came in there, put 5 tackles in there, and you stopped you. Kansas City used the ends to stop you. What are you going to do to build and stop that?
No, but see, here's the problem.
That goes on coaching
staff. You want
offensive
to know what they're going to do? They have a better chance of winning if they play Brady Quinn. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a whole lot. Because the fact of the matter is you can't make the adjustments you need to with Tebow. He can't throw consistently. Flat out. He can't do it. Now look, I ain't no Brady Quinn fan. And don't get me started with
Brady Quinn can only throw if he got 10 seconds. You know that ain't happening with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He's more consistent than Tebow is. Tebow misses wide open receivers and throws it at their feet. And then he's a sight thrower, which means you have to be completely open
before he throws the ball.
And he can't read, he's about to come open and deliver the ball on time. Then, on top of all the Tebow's ineffectiveness, receivers are dropping balls. So when you put all of that together, you get a Denver loss by a lot.
One. I think it's gonna be a close game because you got Ryan Clark gone. You have Ben Roethlisberger, who ain't playing 100%. And I'm sorry, Redmond's a great running back.
Great. So you throw that word around too much. But he's serviceable.
All right, let's use your word, serviceable. By the end of the game, he's not Mendenhall.
He's tired. And then they're going to be in the altitude. I agree with that. All right, don't throw around that word great.
Yo, Denver, this is going to be a close game. This is going to be a very close game. And whether Tebow time happens or not is what's going to come down to.
2 touchdowns or better. Pittsburgh. Moving on. Cincinnati versus Houston. Now, this one's interesting. This ain't the sexy game of the week, but Houston beat them in Cincinnati. Cincinnati kind of backed their way into the playoffs. So, you would expect Houston to win. Then you find out today Andrew Dalton has the flu. Couldn't practice today. So, going into the playoffs, it's kind of dicey. But don't tell me you can't see Cincinnati winning this game.
I can tell you something. Cincinnati has done. You see Yates come in against Cincinnati, do great. He was progressing those 3 games, and that 3rd game after he did. Then you see some digression in his gameplay as the last couple games. So I come right now, and it is a tossed-up game. I'm going to give it to Houston because of running, because of defense. It's going to be a very close game, but Houston's going to get the win.
I'm taking Houston because of the running backs. And I think they saw what Baltimore did last week, and everybody's like, well, it was only 2 plays. Well, you can say it was only 2 plays, but they were 2 huge plays. 51-yard run and a 70-yard run. And Houston saying, we can hit that. Aaron Foster or Tate, we can hit that. So they're saying that, and Andre Johnson's back, and he's healthy. And when you got that, and changes that whole offense, definitely taking Houston in that game. The game of the week, in my opinion, Detroit versus New Orleans. This going to be a shootout.
It's gonna be 45, 41, around that area again.
First playoff game ever, 2 quarterbacks have thrown over 5,000 yards in a regular season. Ever.
This is going to be
no defense today.
This is going to be a great game. I give it to New Orleans because they do have a running game. The running game is crucial. Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Pettigrew, they all step up. The passing's great, but a running game is needed. I don't care if you're doing 70-30. A running game is needed, and Detroit doesn't have that right now.
No, I agree with you. I'm not saying Detroit has no chance in this game, but Detroit is going to need to take the ball away at least 3 times to have a shot, and you're asking a lot. Because Drew Brees will throw you 1, maybe even 2, but turning the ball 3 times at home, I don't see Drew Brees doing that, and that's the only way I see Detroit winning. Detroit's going to need extra possessions because the Saints defense, while not great, will get stops.
Well, I mean, you say and you look at Detroit has a better, line, but then New Orleans has better secondary, and it's all like, y'all ain't got a running back, so they secondary, you gotta play their secondary. So New Orleans definitely has the upper hand, and look at how fast New Orleans can score. They can score. Stafford can do that too. Calvin Johnson, but you don't see that to the fourth. You see first quarter, Drew Brees just throwing one up and it's over. You see that more from the Lions when they're trying to come back for the win.
I think the difference in the game, honestly, is that New Orleans is home. Playing in that dome is no joke. It's one of the toughest places to play in the National Football League, and in that indoor track, them receivers go. I'm taking New Orleans. Last and certainly not least though, Atlanta Falcons versus the New York Football Giants. I know how you feel. Go ahead.
New York Giants, and I say I ain't really. Look, hold up. Julio Jones came and played in the regular season with the pressure. He gonna come in his first playoff game. He's gonna drop balls. Look, all y'all got is Michael Turner. New York Giants line is gonna stop Michael Turner. Matt Ryan, you ain't has he even made it out of the first round ever? When he's made the playoffs? No. Atlanta's a joke team. Again, they fluffed their way to the playoffs. They shouldn't be here at all. New York Giants.
He makes me want to change my pick.
Change it so you can lose.
The fact of the matter is this. While Atlanta hasn't really beaten anybody special per se, the Giants have been Jekyll and Hyde all year. So now you're all in on Big Blue, and Big Blue can lay an egg like they did against the Redskins?
Wait, hold up. I'm all in on Big Blue because I'll never be all in on Atlanta. It's who they playing.
Wait, is Matt Ryan better than Rex Grossman? Yes. Didn't Rex Grossman shred this defense just a couple weeks ago? Yes. Didn't Halou run on this defense? Isn't your boy in Atlanta better than Halou? I'm just saying, you're like, oh, this is a done deal. Atlanta can go into New York and steal this game.
See, this is my issue. Turner better. Matt Ryan better.
I know where you going. I know where you going.
You have no secondary. You have Julio Jones. You got Roddy White. So they take away Roddy White. What you got? Mike Turner can't run the whole game. He gonna get burnt out fourth quarter. And Eli Manning, was it most fourth quarter comebacks this year? And then he just broke the record for fourth quarter comebacks.
He broke the record for fourth quarter touchdown for 15.
All right, look, Eli Manning's gonna get it done. I can't say where he goes after this game, but this game, this is warm up. This is a preseason game. Atlanta shouldn't even came to play. Forfeit right now.
Good Lord. In the shocker, I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons because he's all in.
Why you set yourself up?
I just can't look.
Why you set yourself up?
I believe the Giants will win, but you too hype. You just too hype.
I've been saying this I've been consistent with this garbage team. Garbage. I don't care you made the playoffs. Look, you should be able to vote. It should be like the Pro Bowl. You should be able to vote teams out the playoffs. You're voted off the island. You're like, oh, seriously.
Well, if we voted them out, Denver would never be in. And that's your team.
Wait, hold on. Tebow got enough fans to vote him in. Yo.
But is Denver... So you saying Atlanta has less of a chance than Denver does of winning? Because you didn't even say Denver didn't have a chance. But you guaranteeing me that Atlanta going to lose.
It's too many holes. Tebow, I admit Tebow is a hole. Tebow is a hole. One hole. Atlanta got too many holes. Hey, look, and this man wins.
We'll see. Anyways, next up, NBA. Spurs team was looking good early, and then Manu Ginobili breaks his hand. 2 months. What are they going to do?
Well, Tim Duncan, Pop said that he was in the best shape of
Tim's
his life.
done.
Wait, hold up. He was in the best shape of his life.
He's done.
Now, health-wise, your cholesterol might be low.
Done.
Your blood pressure might be low. But as a basketball player, you are not the Tim Duncan that has 4 rings. You're not him. You're done. Tony Parker has reached his peak, and you're not elevating his game at all anymore. Ginobili was the fire that was going to bring something. He broke his hand. You guys are done. You guys are going to consistently probably lose.
But see, I won't say, look, the problem is when, in this season especially, with back-to-backs, Duncan can't do it. We just saw him the other night have a 4.1 rebound game, 1 of 9 shooting.
Kwame Brown got better stats than that.
Don't you ever disrespect.
Kwame Brown got better stats than that.
They should never be in the same sentence at all.
You're right. So why Kwame Brown gonna have better stats?
Stop it.
Tim Duncan should
Tim
retire.
Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time.
I agree.
Don't ever do that.
I agree. And like Brad Favre, you know when to hang it up.
Don't ever put Edward Scissorhands in the sentence with Tim Duncan again.
Should have retired. Be a great. Don't do this to your legacy and having a flop of a year like you're doing right now.
Look,
can you retire mid-season?
You can.
He need to do it.
But the fact of the matter is, Manu was the motor that made that car go. And with him being down, I don't know where they're going to find it. And then last night, your boy Zach Randolph, he hurts his knee. Another injury, MCL gone 2 months. I don't know now. I think San Antonio in the regular season can overcome it. You know, Manu should be healthy late season playoff time. I don't know if Memphis can overcome this. They made a trade for Maurice Spates, but Maurice Spates is not Zach Randolph.
Zach Randolph came in last year and was the leader of that team. When Rudy Gay went down, he was the leader of that team. He drove them into the playoff run. Rudy Gay has to step up now. But the problem is, even if he steps up leadership-wise, you're not replacing Zach Randolph. But that's what's going to hurt that
not
team.
Just Rudy, Mike Conley Jr. and Marc Gasol got to play. You know, Marc Gasol's a good center, but he's going to have to step his game up in order to take off the slack of losing Zach. And the other thing that scares me was Zach had got himself in decent shape these last couple years. With him being injured, Zach a big boy. Zach he might come back. So if he out of shape and then he got to work himself back into shape, you asking a lot because he can't do a lot with his knee being hurt. So this might be a lost season for Memphis. You know, Lionel Holland's going to have to do some coaching over there and see what he can do. Next up, the most immature team in the NBA, having more problems than Sacramento Kings. DeMarcus Cousins has requested a trade, and Paul Westphal told him, don't return to the facility. What do you do with this situation?
Well, I think when you come to this one, it's don't return. You know, when Dwight Howard, they come down, they have meetings with you. They're like, you know, we want you to stay.
But that's a different animal.
We'll build
DeMarcus Cousins has had these problems since college.
So my thing is, the team don't want you there. Sacramento Kings, they backed out, so they sit here trying to find some way to get rid of you. And they're like, don't play. We don't need you to get used to our system. We need to get on without you.
This is how bad it is. When a team gives up all its leverage in a trade, when they say don't come back and give away all the leverage, so now they're not going to get anything great for you. I don't know what he was doing, but it was horrendous. You're a professional, and you can't do this. He's a talented kid, but he's a knucklehead, and he's about to lose his career. This is horrible. Who wants you?
Look, you better pull the Phoenix Suns and start giving away for money. What does it take $10,000? It's $10,000.
I don't know what you do with that. So Sacramento was going nowhere this year anyway because they play as individuals and not as a team. So, but this DeMarcus Cousins thing is a mess. And another mess, if they're the most immature team, the second most immature team is the team in D.C. There's talent on that squad. And Flip Saunders deserves better. What is John Wall and company doing?
I think.
What are they doing?
The past couple of years, you seen arenas. They put too much in arenas. Arenas.
Okay, but he's gone. He's gone. But you got John Wall, McGee, Nick Young, Blotch, who can't stay out the club and stay in shape. I mean, what are they? There's so much talent on that team. And they can't even win the game. They get to win the game this season.
And you can't say the coach. Y'all had different coaches over the past years. Not with this team, but not with this personnel, but with different coaches. And you still don't see. All right,
man. You can bring Phil Jackson in on that team. They not intelligent enough to use their talent, and that's a problem. That's just a fact. Two most immature teams, the Washington Wizards and the Sacramento Kings, they will be fighting for the #1 pick this year. I promise you that. That's all we got for you this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the playoffs this weekend. Remember, hit us up on Twitter at BigDaddiek6.
LP Jenkins said, like Bright J. Like Bright J.
Have a good one.